Hey everybody, it's Valerie again with the US Canada portion of Meant to Be Well. And I am thrilled to have my speaker here with us today, Mariela DeSantiago. And she is the ninth speaker of day 2. And I am thrilled to have her talk to us about the benefit of mom groups and support systems. And a little bit about Mariela. She is joining us from California, United States. And to tell you more about what she does, she, amidst the whirlwind of parenthood, Mariela found herself craving accessible resources to navigate the challenges of motherhood. Her journey began as a dedicated special education teacher, advocating for students with diverse needs. However, motherhood shifted her focus. Craving accessible resources, Mariela delved into prenatal and postpartum yoga certification, complementing her previous role as a fitness instructor. Frustrated by the scarcity of podcasts addressing her pressing concerns during her son's naps, Mariela launched her own podcast called New Mom Talk. This led to the creation of a nurturing mom group, Carlsbad Mom Crew, fostering connection and resource sharing. Mariela's mission is to empower mothers at every stage, fostering a supportive community for guidance and camaraderie. Welcome, Mariela. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I love to talk with you more about the importance of mom groups and community. I think that is huge. We have talked a lot about that today, but I really think that it is an important topic that cannot be understated because I just remember feeling so alone during my first year of motherhood and in those early stages. And I know that you talk a lot about this and have done so many great things in this area.
Yes. So I think it's very common for moms to feel alone, especially if you're a first time mom,
Yeah.
especially if you are one of the first in your friends to become a parent, right? You are going through things that your friends have not, they can't relate to. You start to be excluded from events or gatherings because you're expecting, so you can't drink, or you're always tired, or you're always turning down invites, which then makes you feel lonely, right? Which then can also add more stress and kind of put you into this like depression when your body is changing, your relationship is changing, and not necessarily for like in a bad way, but like there's so many changes going on that really what you need is a supportive community, and you need others that understand what you're going through. And who else is going to understand that than people that have gone through it themselves? Moms.
Absolutely. And I love that you have a podcast that talks about all of this. And I did not know about podcasts when I was a first time mom in that first year. I mean, I knew a podcast, but I didn't know that there were mom podcasts and that we could feel like we're connected with it. Tell us more about how that came, how you started to do that. I know it was kind of early on in motherhood that you started your podcast.
Yeah. So it was, I want to say my son was about 2 or 3 months old. I have always loved podcasts. On my commute, I would listen to podcasts. They're educational, they're informative, you can multitask. And so when I was recovering, I would go on walks, but I would try to listen to parenting podcasts. And although there's so many wonderful podcasts out there, I was not finding what I needed, which was a podcast that was going to provide me with the information I was constantly Googling during naps. So it could be anything that's related to nursing, anything related to baby sleep, postpartum wellness, friends. So anything and everything that you deal with after you become a parent, because you literally Google everything, right? And so I wasn't finding a podcast that gave me that evidence-based information. They were all more kind of personal stories, which were wonderful, but it wasn't what I needed. I needed to learn and I needed to have information provided to me that was evidence-based. So what I also found when I was doing all of my research was conflicting information. let's say I typed in, why is my baby not sleeping? You find all sorts of different information, and anyone can share that on the internet. So now I was trying to figure out, well, who's a credible resource? Like, why is this person from this website credible versus this other website, right? So now I'm just adding more to my list.
Yeah.
So instead of getting the information I needed, I was getting an overwhelming amount that supported many different answers. And I thought there's got to be an easier way for this. Like, there has to be a podcast that focuses on a topic and that an expert comes and provides the evidence based knowledge to those questions by backing it up, right? And then that way I can take what works for me and then I can leave what doesn't. So, like, let's say starting solids with baby, there's the purees and then there's the baby led weaning. You could find evidence on which way is best, but that doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other for depending on your situation, right?
Mhm.
Like, every parent is different, every child is different, and your needs differ. So you just need the information to be provided to you for you to make the best decision for your family. So, long story short, after I did not find that, I decided to spend about 3 months figuring out how to create a podcast. And then I launched it when my son was 8 months old.
That's incredible. I think that is so important. Like, I know we've talked about this before, but this evidence-based information is just so helpful because there is so much stuff out there. You can just search and search and search, and there's so many personal stories as to what worked well for one child, but may not work necessarily for another. It may not work for a different stage of a different phase, a different age, what or maybe there's a sibling now. It's just there's so much stuff. So I love how you create this accessible information that is evidence based in a way that here's the resources, and then you can kind of go from there with those resources. I think that's great and so needed, especially with this population.
Yeah, especially because, again, like you mentioned, every person's situation is different. So, therefore, not everything is going to work for everyone. Like, the way that a baby sleeps is going to differ from baby to baby. I only have one, but you've experienced this, I'm sure, because you have
Mhm.
two kids, where your first baby doesn't sleep the same way that your second baby does.
Mhm.
So you're just constantly researching because the needs differ.
Yes, they so do. It's funny how like one child can be completely one way and then the other one can be totally different. I know like with my youngest, she like the sleep was the issue, but with like my second, yeah, that I don't remember what it was, but there was another issue with that, like there's always something. And then you're already losing sleep. Like we talked about that earlier. Lena Santagile, she talks about the benefits of sleep, but also works with new moms on sleep and like how just if you're not getting sleep, then it's just even harder. And it's just kind of the cycle, I feel like, that's hard to get out of sometimes.
Yes, very much so. And
Mhm.
so just having like a supportive community, not only through the podcast, but through community and resources is a great
Yes,
way to be able to find that support.
absolutely. Tell us more about the community that you created because it's called Carlsbad Moms, which is in California. But I love like what you guys do and how you've created that community.
Yeah, so Carlsbad Mom Crew, if you're in San Diego area, I create events that bring moms together, and I share a local business, a small business that's wanting to target moms in this area. So some ways that I do that are like, let's say I might work with a pelvic floor therapist, and we'll do like a pelvic floor stretch class that's educational. So moms can come with their little ones, they learn about the pelvic floor, they learn about the importance of it, things that you didn't know. You have an expert there that can answer questions. That's one example of an event that I've held. I've had some that are just mom's night out with, again, the option for moms to bring their little ones, but to just come and get together with other moms and just try to relax if they didn't bring their little ones. I've done sensory classes. So moms bring their little ones, do an outdoor activity with a local business that does a sensory class, which exposes the little ones to outdoor nature through this class. And it also gives moms a sneak peek of what they could sign up for if they wanted to, let's say, purchase a class or a package through that business.
Mm.
So there's like a variety of events because my goal is to connect moms and businesses, because as moms, we're so busy, right? We're so swamped that when it comes to, let's say, shopping or planning a birthday party, you go with what you know. You're going to go to Target, you're going to purchase what you see at Target, which is not always going to be that little small brand that just started right down the street from you, that's created by a mom, that's a local business, because you don't know about it, one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you didn't really Google that company, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to birthday parties, so I have what I'm calling mom experiences. I bring a variety of vendors together to create an experience for moms. I just had my first one recently, and it was a bar class followed by breakfast, coffee, desserts, all provided by local small business vendors. All of them were mom owned or women owned. And so it actually gave moms the opportunity to experience the products that they create and to share an alternative for those birthday parties. So
Mm.
instead of ordering from Bonds, support this little mom shop or this women owned business that's here in your neighborhood.
Yes.
So it's really just a way, an alternative way to share with moms different businesses to support and for those businesses to potentially get clients.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful. That's wonderful to have those type of events to raise awareness for both sides, for the moms, for the businesses. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but
Yeah.
it really is a lot of fun. It's a great experience. It's a great opportunity for everyone involved.
It's amazing. Well, Mariela, I would love for you to talk with us a bit about self care for moms. I know we talk about that, and I know that's something that you talk a lot about on your podcast. And what are some ideas or things? I know one size doesn't fit all, but like just I think this is a topic, another topic that just really we can't be understated. Like there's just so much out there that we just need to keep hearing it and putting that oxygen mask on ourselves before others. It's so kind of cliche, but it is just so relevant.
Yeah, it really is. I love talking about this topic because we need it, right? You, as a mom or as a dad, as a parent, you put so much time into your little ones that you forget to care for yourself. And if all you're doing is pouring and pouring and pouring from an empty cup, eventually you're going to drain yourself to where that energy is so diminished, or you're just not giving as much as you could. So I always say you need to make time for yourself. It may not be daily, but if you can, 5 minutes a day might be all that you need.
Mm.
I think when we think of self care, we automatically think we need an hour. Yeah, you know what? An hour was the minimum before I became a parent. But now I'm a parent and my schedule does not exist. I have a toddler that runs my schedule. And self care can look like, for me, it's working out every day. So I set a minimum of 30 minutes aside to work out while my son naps. That means that the house is going to be messy during that time. That means that the laundry is not going to be done. That means that everything else is put on hold because I can do that when my son is awake. I can't work out when my son is awake because I can't use that heavy equipment.
Mhm.
But not only are you taking care of yourself, you're showing that it's okay to care for yourself and that parents need that. So, for example, my husband works out in the morning and my son will come down and say, "Dad is running." Yeah, so he sees that we're being active and that that's part of our lifestyle. It's not a job or a task. This is what we do to stay healthy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes my self-care looks like laying on the bed and watching a really good show or doing a face mask. And sometimes it looks like going to get a massage if that's something I'm able to fit into my schedule. It varies, but I always really try to ensure that I have some time for myself. And sometimes it means maybe I just need to go for a walk with my son, listen to a podcast while I push the stroller because he doesn't need my attention when he's facing forward, eating a snack. He's stimulated by nature and the outdoors, and I can listen to a book or listen to a podcast or listen to music or nothing at all.
Yes, absolutely. I remember doing that when my kids were a little bit younger. I would have the stroller in the car. So like if I dropped off one at school, I would have my other one that I just take her for a walk. And then that way I was able to do that. Cause that is so important to get that self-care in. And then also they're, like you're saying, being stimulated. We don't have to constantly kind of be in their face all the time. There's other things that we can do both at the same time. Like I think there's a book that called Double Dipping, and I think that's like a great concept of like you're able to maybe enjoy nature, enjoy a walk with your kids, but you're also experiencing it for yourself as well.
Yeah. And you're showing how important some of this stuff is with your little ones. So why
Yes.
not? Why not make time for yourself? What's so wrong or selfish about doing that? You need it.
Absolutely. And they see that. And that is so important. And I love how you say, we talk about this pouring from an empty cup and we say, like, you can't pour from an empty cup, but we're doing it so much of the time. I feel like there is so much of it. And it's going a step further. I know a few speakers were talking about this earlier, but like not just saying it, but doing it, but like actually doing that action. And it is so important to kind of reflect on is my cup empty, and what can I do to replenish it right now.
Exactly. I love that. That's really the way that you need to think about it.
Absolutely. What fills your cup, Mariela?
Ooh, for me, it's definitely taking time for myself, which might be a workout.
Yeah.
I love to get some sort of massage if I can,
Yes.
whether that's like going to, a little local spa and getting like a foot massage or going to a really nice spa and doing a big self-care day.
hmm
Being outdoors, we're right by the beach, so that's one thing that I absolutely love, and my son also loves is just going out and being able to stare at the ocean and appreciate this beautiful place that we live in, the water, looking for wildlife, sea life. Every once in a while, we might see a dolphin, which is really amazing and such a great experience. Every single time I see one, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I saw one because it's not something that we see all the time. You can go to the zoo and see some wild animals, and even that is so impressive, but it's not that same feeling for me anyway.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's I get that, where it's like there's so much novelty in there, and the zoo is incredible. I mean, you have that San Diego Zoo, and we have one in Chicago that's really nice, and you love going there. But there is something about being out and seeing animals in the wild is just in awe sometimes, and that fills my cup up too. Like that feeling of awe, whether that be like seeing the animals, seeing the beach, or even like outside my window right now. I have this beautiful tree in my front yard that it's losing all its leaves and like it's turning yellow, and I'm just seeing the leaves kind of just float in the wind down as we're talking, and as I've been talking with other speakers, and just like watching that and how it just life is beautiful, and pausing and seeing those things I think can help even for a few minutes to fill up my cup, and to just reset. And sometimes we don't have all this time, but when but when we can, like, just, being mindful of that. And I think that's beautiful that you promote those things.
Yeah, we live up against a hillside, so
Mhm.
there's a lot of wildlife, and we see coyotes in the middle of the day, and I love seeing them. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I appreciate them because, they're beautiful creatures, and I feel so bad that they're getting pushed out because they don't mean to harm us. They don't, but they're also trying to survive. And so every time I see an animal, something as simple as like a coyote or a hawk,
Mm.
I love to show my son and let him know what they're doing and how animals are so incredible and how they're so good for us. So, yeah, animals in general. I love animals. I have two dogs.
So,
So getting out with them is also always a good something we love to do.
yes, absolutely. And Chan here says, lovely nature and animals surrounding us. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we have some coyotes as well. And I think that is nice to just experience that, like where our dog barks at them all the time and it can be annoying. But at the same time, just our dogs being, I don't know, like, I think recently I have noticed, I mean, I didn't know, this is kind of going on a tangent, but I do feel like it's important to talk about is the fact that, like, with dogs in general, like, I notice if I talk softly to my dog or if I am like talking sternly, you can tell, like, just the vibe I'm giving off to the dog. Like, they feel it. And it's just incredible how we're all connected in this world and how animals are connected and the way they can pick up on those things, if that makes sense.
Yes. Ugh,
Hmm.
animals are just so incredible. But yeah, dogs especially, they just know. I remember when I was pregnant, feel like my dog knew before I did. Like she would not leave my side. She never really left my side, but since once I learned we were expecting, she would never leave my side. She would like lay almost like protecting my belly. I had my other dog, anytime I would get home, he'd like kiss my belly. It was really neat.
Sweet. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Dr. Barb Vokatis talks about dog therapy in the classroom. That was yesterday. So we talk about a lot about dogs there too, and I find them so incredible. But Mariela, I would love, as we wrap up here, for you to share with us. I know we talked about it earlier, but tell us again about where we can find your podcast, where we can get in touch with you. I have it all in the notes as well as it's scrolling on the banner. But share with us again where we can find you.
Yeah, so you can start off with my website, newmomtalk.com. From there, you can link to my podcast. You can also find me on any podcast platform. If you are in the San Diego area, you can go to the events page, and on there, I have all of the events that are coming up. You can also find me on my Instagram at Carlsbad Mom Crew for my group or at newmomtalk.podcast for my podcast. And if you are a small or local business that's wanting to connect with moms, reach out to me. I love working with small businesses that are out to support moms because we need it. I'm all about the resources, educating moms, supporting moms. I don't think that there can ever be too much. I think we're getting more and more education, and I feel like it's great that we're starting to focus on the needs that moms have after they have a baby, and that it's not just all about the baby. Like the parents need that support probably more than the little ones do from the outside,
Mm,
right?
absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And I think, again, yeah, that oxygen on yourself, like, it is so important. You have to do those things. So I think that's amazing. And thank you again for joining us. And everyone, definitely check out everything that Mariela has. And thank you for the comments, and Chan for chiming in. I love all the community and the talk that we have. So we will be next up with Liz Kent, who is also going to talk about mom life. So stay tuned, especially if you're a parent or a mom. And we're going to talk some more about this topic. So thank you again.
Thank you.
You have a good evening, Mariela. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.